Drag racing has had many heroes, men and women whose deeds and accomplishments have added color to the sport's rich and varied tapestry. Yet there is one man who stands out from the rest, a man whose name has become synonymous with the sport, a man whose special charisma always ignites crowds. Like the fabled gunfighters of the Old West, he has squarely faced the challenges of man and time, constantly forced to prove again and again that he's number one. He's accumulated nicknames over the years, Swamp Rat, Tampa Don, but to the world, he is best known as Big Daddy Don Garlits. Through a career that has spanned more than 3 decades, Don Garlits has accomplished more than any other top fuel driver. More records set, more races won. He has strived throughout his career to follow his own path, always openly expressing his beliefs and convictions, succeeding on his own terms. He's built a legend for himself that started in the mid-50s with his famed Swamp Rat 1, the first of his famous black cars. This car and its immediate successors laid the groundwork for his long and colorful career. Always, his actions and his innovative thinking helped shape the growing sport of drag racing. In 1963, Garlits won his first National Hot Rod Association event, the Winter Nationals, and began his reign as the king of top fuel. Join us today as we relive with Don Garlits his legendary career. Hello, I'm Steve Evans, and this is the shop where Don Garlits builds and maintains his famous Swamp Rat race cars. In 1984, it seemed that Don was no longer serious about big-time drag racing. Oh, he was out there for sure, match racing, even an occasional NHRA national event appearance. But he seemed content to let the Becks and the Amatos and the Will Downeys of the world fight it out for the major titles, because he was expending all of his energy on building the first museum of drag racing here in Ocala, Florida, and on this same 16 acres, building a house for wife Pat and himself. In August of '84, the museum had opened to rave reviews, the house was ready to move into, and the timing was perfect for old friend and former partner Art Malone to come along. And Art brought with him the latest in engine parts and pieces, and the suggestion that the two old warriors team up again and head off for the 30th anniversary NHRA U.S. Nationals at Indianapolis. Don hadn't been there for 5 years. Well, to be honest, there were some who scoffed at the idea of a 52-year-old man taking a 4-year-old race car off the museum floor and trying to win the biggest drag race in the world. When the smoke had cleared, nobody was laughing. Don Garlits had won his 6th U.S. Nationals Top Fuel title. Let's meet the greatest drag racer of them all, the one they call Big Daddy, Don Garlits. Don, thank you for sharing your story with us today.
Well, it's nice of you to come by, Steve.
You won the U.S. Nationals, then you headed west, a victory at the World Finals to back it up. Had to be a very special 2 months.
It really was. You know, everybody thought that I was all through and I had really retired from competitive drag racing. I did a little drag racing now and then, and then, of course, when Art came along, that's a dear old friend from a long time ago. Well, we rode a school bus together when we were kids. So when Art called up and said, let's go to Indy, and what are you going to need in extra parts? And he came through with the money. I was just really excited. But I really didn't think we'd go up there to win the race. I just wanted to make a real good showing.
In the victory interview that you and I did, you seemed stunned by it all.
Thank you, Steve. I've had a wonderful weekend, and I've enjoyed myself tremendously. It's been great to be back.
It's great to have you back, and we look forward next year to a new car, aerodynamics, the kind of thinking only you bring to this sport.
Well, I hope so. Art has injected a lot of, given me enthusiasm to have him come along and put the money where most people's mouth is and get me here and buy the parts so we're capable of performing with these people, which proves that you just got to have the technology. I was surprised that the 4-year-old car came through, and of course you had to have a lot of brakes in drag racing too. We got a few brakes. Amato spun his tires when he was racing one of the other cars, and he was really very fast at the race. We had the top speed, but that ET's what wins the races.
And the fans in